Alright guys, it's Clay again. Hey, I got your feedback on that last video. 99% of you said just keep going with the 61 and get it done quick and get something you can drive and then move on back to the 67. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm kind of back in the groove again. I got moved into my house and everything, so I'm ready to start making videos more periodically like I used to. So here's my goal. My goal, and I'm going to say right here on the video, is to get one a month at least on the blue truck and get all the little stuff I do in between on the green truck for the next month, just as I get it, you know, every 2 days, every 3 days, whatever it may be. And these videos are not going to be the polished, spit, shine, got the music with them, got my drone, you know, getting shots and stuff like that. These are going to be quick videos, a lot of it handheld, where I'm showing you exactly what I'm doing and just hurrying up through it so y'all can stay with me during the whole process. Again, this doesn't mean I'm going to give up on my other project, the 67. I want y'all to keep that in mind. I'm going to continue to work on it, and now that I've gotten some of the household stuff out of the way, we did a remodel, I'm ready to get on it. So I've got the engine to build on it, I've got to find a transmission to put in it. The body panels are not lined up at all. I just kind of put the thing together to get it here from Virginia. So yeah, it's got a lot of work to do. So with that being said, let's get started on the 61. The goal of this video is going to be to pull this engine out. I may not get it done in this first video, but in this video and the next one, the engine will be out and we'll be getting the head over to get it, the valve job done on it and get it resurfaced. So let's get to it. Let me show you this motor mount I was telling y'all about in the other video. So do you see how that plate right down there is shy of the hole it needs to be bolted in? So this plate right here is a car, I think a car mount, I'm not sure. It bolts to the front of the engine correctly back here and on the other side, but it only goes to right here. The truck mounts were this real heavy kind of big cast iron looking thing that came out and circled way out here like a big kind of a U, and it had a big hole in it and you put a rubber thing here. So I'm either going to find one of those or I'm going to extend this one on forward, come off this edge right here. I might have to put some little supports or something to make it really strong, bore a hole in it right here and use the same kind of rubber mount. So that's the mount. Like I said, there's a piece of angle iron that you can't see under here that's bolted to the frame this way and bolted up to the bottom of this plate right here. So here's the 2 into, or the 3 and 6 into 2, I guess is the way you'd say it, exhaust from Offenhauser. Actually, I don't know if this is Offenhauser. Right here it says something, I'm trying to make it out. Finlon or something like that. Anyway, I like it. The alternator is sitting in here awful crooked. I don't know if I look down on this straight. If you look at the frame, you can kind of see how that top bracket on the alternator is closer towards us than the frame, the bottom of the picture on the right hand side than it is on the left. So I'm just going to fix some stuff like that. I mean, the belt was turning on it, but not great. Alright guys, from underneath, this is just a real quick shot of the angle iron. It's a big old piece of aluminum actually. Trying to keep the light on it for you. So, aluminum that's kind of holding up into the old mount that's on the old car bracket, you know. And then it comes through with these 2 bolts here on the frame. So we're going to clean that all up. This is the problem with the dual exhaust, is you see 2 coming down over here, no problem, but that one bank has to swing all the way over to become a dual on the passenger side, and there's a lot of weight with that lever arm right there. So if you think about it, sorry for the camera work, this whole thing here is levering down, which is putting a lot of stress up there on 2 bolts that are holding that thing to the manifold. So I got the starter undone, I got the radiators all out of it. You can see the front of the engine up there. So oil's out, got the oil out of it. So now I'm ready to unhook the drive shaft. So I'll pull the drive shaft off. So if we look here, you can see this little 3-speed there. No big deal. Unbolt that thing think it's only held on with 4 bolts, if I remember. It's got a lot of oil on it too, where stuff's leaking. I think actually this is all the rear main seal just leaking back on everything. So I think that's rear main seal is one of my biggest problems. And then here's the 9-inch right here I was telling you about. And those 2 duals. I mean, somebody paid some good money for pretty nice duals. Pretty cool. Oh, I think I see why the choke didn't work. Not even hooked up. Guy that sold it to me said, don't put the choke on, you'll never get it to come back off. Well, the stupid wire wasn't even in the... Alright, that's the choke cable. And I already had the throttle linkage undone right here. So if I can get that behind those wires. Yep, there we go. So with that, throttle linkage off, choke cables off, vacuum lines off. This side's clear, and everything. We're ready to lift it out. I'm gonna push it back and hook up my crane. Alright guys, I thought I'd save you the trouble of watching this at real time and did a time lapse on this with my GoPro. And a couple of things to point out here. The crane I used right there, the first time I used that was on the blue truck that's on the left there, and pulled the 352 out of it while I was in Virginia. So the crane's pretty new. I like it. I got it at Harbor Freight. I also got the there's a leveling device right there I'm attaching to the engine. I like it. I got it at Harbor Freight as well. That thing helps you kind of tilt the engine as you're lifting it, so you can kind of angle it up and out of there and then flatten it back out when you're coming over that core support. So I'm hooking it up. I'm making sure that my chains are kind of tight to the engine so that the crane, when it's fully lifted, will clear the engine will clear the front of the truck. You got to kind of keep all that tight, enough to swivel but tight. And I realized here that I couldn't get the legs of the crane underneath that straight axle, so I put some 3/4 inch 1x material under each tire, and it was just enough to make it clearer. And then I took that chain off the crane and went straight to just a hook there to again eliminate some of the distance to the engine. And then I pulled this thing out of here. As I get it up here, I'll go back to regular speed here in just a minute and show you kind of how the engine's hanging there, and it cleared real well. We have this engine loose. You can see it just kind of hanging in here. See how that transmission's clearing. So we're going to kind of continue up, and hopefully I got everything short enough right here that I can get my jack up at an angle that'll clear this truck. Alright, I think we're fixing to get on it right now. Alright, back to it. You can see here, don't be scared to kind of go back down in there when you're lifting an engine out. I mean, sometimes we all feel like we got to, don't turn back no matter what, you know, we keep going. This thing started hitting on the front of the truck, so I lowered it down a little bit. I took that front motor mount off,
tilted it a little different and then pull it over here to the side a little bit, man, it came right out. So don't be afraid to adjust your crane when you're doing this.
That's about as high as that jack will go. And I think I cleared. Come on, baby. These things heavy. And I got it extended out there. I don't know what my wheels are hitting. They do not want to roll. There they go. They're on a hump. Right there. Alright, let's go down. Get this thing a little safer. Kind of nice to look at right there though. It's easy to see. Got a little transmission and bell housing on the back. Yeah, this is where they weld on that extra boss so you can put a T5 on here. Oh yeah. I think I put a little T5 on the back of the 6-cylinder, would be kind of fun. Get some highway speeds out of it. It's got a lot of torque. Get it up there in overdrive. Be sitting up around 70, no problem. 70, 75 on the highway out here in West Texas. Shoot. That'll work. That'll hold till I do my real swap on it. For the push rods, you got to keep up with where they are because we're going to put them right back in the same hole in the same lifter. So as we start pulling the push rods off, that's where they're going to go. Stick them through there and keep them straight. Alright, here we go. Let's lower this thing down and see what we got. There's some more water coming out now that we got it tilted this way. I got a bucket or something here. Let's see.
Alright, some more of the high speed stuff here. I did spill out about another half a gallon of antifreeze when I turned this engine more flat on these boards. Then I grabbed a jack and put underneath the transmission, and that kind of leveled it out for me, and I set the front of it on some boards, and that's the way it's still sitting right now.
I'm just going to put this rag under here. Go ahead and get the fuel line off. There's fuel in here from coming up from the fuel pump. Yep, that wasn't too bad. And then I need this vacuum advance line off. I think I'm just going to break it right here. There we go. Alright, I'm just going to take this whole, both manifolds off at one time. There's that side. Just lay that right there. When they say float bowl, that's what they mean. There's some gas in that sucker. It's a bowl. And it needed a new gasket here anyway. So let's set it down somehow. Keep that carburetor as flat as possible. Valve train. So I'm going to loosen it kind of in a pattern. This is what's recommended. Is you kind of come off these a little at a time, so that you're kind of breaking that, you know, that tension on it at the same time. It's got some valves depressed, so you have to kind of come up even with these. I'll come back in the middle. Give them a few more.
Right here, back in the middle. Bring them all up to the top. So they're all kind of lifting. Helps get that pressure on number one intake.
Alright. Now we got them all loose. Let's lift this valve carrier off. And there are two oiling pipes that supply oil to this tube right here. And they are on each end right here. And you have to take this bolt out and it holds that little sucker like that. And then you can move this little oil gallery pipe that fits in a hole down there. It's got a rubber seal right there that don't look great either, so that we probably could improve. So this is the rear one, looks longer. And this is the front one right here. I'll take him out too. It's actually a pretty cool system, you know, for oiling. It's not bad at all, the way that Ford invented this. Alright, once you get these all loose, you get your two little oil tubes out of the way. You can just lift this whole thing up like this. Take it right off. Set it aside. It only goes on the engine one way, so you don't have to worry about front and back. Okay, now then, this is where my little piece of paper comes in handy. Because we're going to pull out each one of these push rods and put them in these holes. So we can get them back in the same order. Now I'm looking at these, and somebody replaced this one right here with the different shaped one. Number 6 back. Now I don't know if that's a special one or something, or somebody just got one. Have to show that to the machine shop, see if they got any. See, I gotta be real careful. My motor's a little precarious up here as I break these loose. I don't want that thing to fall. Get my breaker. Some trivia. This set of Craftsman wrenches helped rebuild my first 302 that I put in my blue 63. Unibody. Okay, I got those. Now I'm going to come let these middle ones out, I think. Just a little bit. Just, oh, careful. Now we're going to put some speed to it. That one's already out. Alright, let's get them little ones out on the back corner. Let's see what this thing looks like. I might go to ARP. Okay, something to note. The one inside the oil valve cover gasket is shorter than the one on the outside. I don't know if that's, yeah, it makes sense because it's a taller deck right here. Okay. So that's that. We are about to do the big reveal of the inside of this thing. And I'm so interested in seeing what's going on in there. So let's get ready to do it. See what happens. There it goes. Green water's gonna come out. We didn't have a hit. Ooh. Look here, guys. Nothing here. Between these two cylinders, and these were the two that were horrible. Okay? Look what I got. Actually, I'm gonna bring y'all to it instead of me messing around with this sucker. Alright, this is the back cylinder, number 6. Keep coming down, keep coming down. You see how right in the middle, this one's starting to get kind of burnt? Well, then look right here between 3 and 4, it's burned all the way through. So what this does is you got a hole bridging these two cylinders. So what that means is every time this one was coming up for a compression stroke, it was breathing out of here into one of its exhaust or intake manifolds right here. So, and every time this one came up for a compression stroke, it was breathing over here into one of these that was open. So those two cylinders together with it burnt right there are in trouble. And the reason it's probably burnt right there is because they didn't surface the head. They just took the head off, cleaned it up, and put another gasket on it, which is a no-no. You need to surface it so that it's 100% flat, and this gasket gets pinched all the way around every one of these cylinders the same. It's either that or they didn't get this cylinder bolt and this cylinder bolt tightened up right. One of those. But those valves don't look horrible, to tell you the truth. The little ones are the exhaust and the big ones are the intake. This one's awful black right here. That's number 5. And this is number 6. So if I remember right, I had pretty bad sealing on nearly all of them, but 2 of them. Let's get our little piece of paper. That's number, I got this, y'all can't really read it, I can, okay? So number 1, I had a 13% loss, and number 2, I had a 13% loss. So as you can tell, they were pretty much sealing all the way around, and probably the losses I was having was the actual valves not sealing good or blow by on the rings. Number 3 was shot. We know 3 and 4 are both shot, and they were. They wouldn't even hold 11 to 6 psi when I was pushing 75 in. Number 5, again, okay, 61. When I put in 75, that's an 18% loss. But then this little booger on the back, number 6, was wasted. So I'm not sure where I was losing all my stuff. I may have a crack in this head. We're going to have it magnaflux. Or one of these valves just flat out is not sealing, which is more likely what's going on. So we're going to put hardened seats in the exhaust valves, and we will go from there. I'll let y'all know what the machine shop tells me.